Let's talk about feminine energy and what that actually means. A lot of people, when they get to know me, they're like, oh, well, she's not very feminine at all, because I like to get my hands dirty. I like to get in there and do the hard work. I like to do manual labor. I like to mow my own lawn. I like to use power tools. I like to build things with my hands. And a lot of people don't see that as very feminine, or I can be very outspoken and loud. Feminine energy is more than just being girly girl, okay? Feminine energy is literally think of the yin and the yang, okay? The yin is the dark side of the yin and yang symbol. The yang is the white side of the yin and yang symbol. So what does that represent? It means outward energy, inward energy. So think of like also waves, the waves that go out and the waves that come in. Also, nature is always going to be a perfect teacher in just life lessons in general. So what you see on the outside of the soil, like that plant that's growing, that's creating fruit and all that stuff, that's more male energy. The feminine energy is what's happening underneath the surface. What's happening in the darkness, what's happening under the soil, in the soil, what's happening with those roots. Because here's the thing is, you cannot have outward expression without having the inward root system to make that possible. So what is the point of the root system of a plant? It's to be able to absorb nutrients in order to have the energy that you need to grow on an external sense. So to me, what feminine energy means is having a more inward approach, being able to slow down, being able to relax, being able to look within, being able to do shadow work. But basically what it is cultivating your inner world and understanding where you're coming from on the internal, intuitive level, so that you know exactly what you want to manifest and put out there in the world. Because if you aren't connected with yourself on the inside and you try to manifest out in the world, it's going to be not necessarily in alignment with who you are and your soul's purpose. So it is extremely important. That's why having balance between feminine energy and masculine energy is so important, because you have to start with the feminine energy. You have to start with being able to slow down, take a break, go within, listen to your intuition, be alone with yourself and your thoughts, and go take that deep dive to see what you are all about. What are you all about on the inside? Okay? I don't care what your job is. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you do with your external world. I want to know what you're doing on the internal world. That's what I want to know. That's true feminine energy. It's not being soft. It's not being pink. It's not being like girly girl. It's nothing like that. Both men and women have feminine energy, because feminine energy, all that is speaking to the things that are going within, that are rest, recovery, going within the darkness to be able to see where your resources lie, and being able to even gather those resources on an internal level to be able to take that energy in and manifest it on an outward scale. So I feel like a lot of females that are beautiful or pretty or feminine actually don't embody their feminine energy very much at all, because a few questions to ask yourself is, how much time do you spend alone? Truly alone, not on your phone, not connecting with people over social media, not making phone calls, not, hanging out with a friend or whatever. How much time do you spend with just yourself alone? That is going to be a really clear indicator on whether your feminine energy and your masculine energy are even in balance at all. So the importance of spending time alone is to be able to connect within, to see what you're about. If you feel uncomfortable spending time with yourself for an extended period of time, that is something to take into consideration. That's something to take a look at. What are you running away from? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being bored? Are you afraid of past traumas you haven't been able to heal yet? Are you afraid of feeling like you're useless or worthless if you're not actually going out there and doing something? Are you feeling like your own company is too boring to spend time with? Are you afraid that you don't know what you would spend your free time on? See, these are wounds that are asking to be healed by you spending time with yourself. Now, something that's going to be a little bit triggering, this video probably is going to be triggering for a lot of you because, most people who are stuck in overcompensating their feminine energy by being overly masculine, overly in their outward do, go energy, spending time with too many people, not spending enough time with themselves, truly spending time with themselves, quality time with themselves. This is going to be really triggering for you. Okay. So 2020, when the whole COVID thing hit, we had to go into quarantine for most of us. This was on a global scale, asking us, the world, the universe, the energy that is the spirit and God, or whatever it is you want to call it, asking us to go within, to connect with ourselves and disconnect from the outside world a little more, to step away from our jobs, to step away from obligations, social obligations, even family, friends, all those things, and really connect with what is the closest to us, what is the closest to our heart, what is near and dear to us. We were asked to connect to that. And I feel like because we've had some time away from that, we've started getting back into old habits, old patterns on a global scale. And we're kind of losing connection with ourselves again. We're losing connection with ourselves again. So it's really important to be like, am I okay? Am I actually okay with this? Well, how do I actually feel about that? And in order to really truly get an answer from that, you're not going to find that in your friend's opinion. You're not going to find that in your family's opinion. You're not going to find that on some YouTube video, even though I'm so grateful you're watching me right now, especially if you've made it this far in the video without being triggered. But the way that you're going to find that answer is by going within, by spending time alone, truly alone, to ponder. And it doesn't always look like work. I am my own personal journalist. I love to journal my own life, my dreams, my experiences, and all that stuff. That is a way to spend time alone to process, but it also is still doing something. You're still distracting yourself from actually going within to a certain extent. So you really have to take that time to just be with yourself. And sometimes it doesn't always look like doing something like journaling, even though that is a very, very highly valuable thing and skill to have with spending time alone in order to process all these things, feelings and emotions and thoughts that are coming up for you. Spending time alone is so important. And it's not always going to look like doing something. Sometimes spending time alone is literally just vegging out and doing nothing and not feeling guilty for it. And that's a habit I have that's bad is feeling guilty for indulging in whatever it is that I want to indulge in while I'm spending time alone. But here's the thing is, the more time you spend alone, the more time you have to just be, to just process, to just do whatever it is that your heart calls you to do. And you're going to be able to hear what that is. And you're going to be able to hear what your authenticity is a lot clearer by spending time alone. So I guess this video, I say it's about feminine energy, but really it's about spending time alone, which is a huge part of feminine energy. Feminine energy is about receiving. It's about opening yourself up and receiving. So like a cup, it receives the water and holds the water. So feminine energy, stepping into your feminine energy, is opening yourself up to receive. And that is a lot easier to do when you're spending time alone, because you are able to open yourself up to receive without distraction messages from spirit, messages from your own inner self, messages from your intuition. You are able to hear your emotions and where they are and why, and your own thoughts and why you're having those thoughts and whether they need to stay, go, or change. You're going to hear them so much better without a whole bunch of external distractions that keep you far away from yourself. So in order to be true to yourself, you need to have that time alone. You need to connect with yourself. You need to open yourself up to receiving. And the best way to do that is by spending time alone. So feminine energy, is the soil in which the plant is able to grow the roots, in which they are able to absorb the nutrients. And the further the roots go, the more that they can absorb nutrients, the bigger, stronger, and higher the plant can grow on the external. So if you're struggling in any form on the external level, whether this is relationships, friendships, money, housing, food, shelter, water, whatever it is on the external, I'm sure there's more than I just listed now, that is calling you, wherever you're struggling in the external, that is calling you to go within. So, for example, a lot of people struggle with financial abundance. So what does that mean? That means to go within and see where you're feeling lack, and to rewrite that story for yourself. Where is it that you are telling yourself, I don't have enough, or I can't, or where are you limiting yourself? And here's the thing is, there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason. And I'm sure a lot of those reasons are very, very valid. But here's the thing is, if you focus on the reasons why you can't, you're never going to see the reasons why you can and what you can do. So for example, I have a bum knee. I injured it many years ago, never went to the doctor, should have had surgery, and now it's healed funky and my knee's just going to be messed up probably for the rest of my life. Also my foot, my foot and my knee. So here's the thing is, because I have limitations in those areas, that doesn't tell me, oh, I can't go to the gym because my knee hurts and my foot is messed up and my knee is messed up. I can't go to the gym. No, what that's telling me is, hey, I have limitations in these areas. So going to the gym to make that area of my body stronger is very important. Okay, do you see what I mean here? Where the limitations that you find yourself in should give you a clue on where you need to build strength. It's not an excuse to continue to allow that weakness to be there. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to be weak. So in order to heal those parts of yourself that are a little bit atrophied, whether it's your finances, whether it's your love life, whether it's a physical part of your body, whatever it may be, you fill in the blank, that is showing you, it's an indicator to where you need to put time, energy, and attention and love on to build that strength. So when I go to the gym, absolutely I am careful when I do cardio, when I'm on the treadmill, when I'm on an elliptical, whenever I'm on a bicycle, or if I'm lifting weights, I am very careful with those, with my knee and my foot, but I do not let that stop me. I'm just very mindful and very careful, and I take it easy. I don't go super hard and ignore my body when it says, hey, this pain is beyond just muscle growth. This is pain that says stop and take a rest. I will stop and take a rest, but that requires listening. That requires feminine energy in order to actually slow down and receive the information and the messages that your body is trying to tell you. This is also like when spirit tries to tell you something. If you're struggling in a relationship, what is that telling you about? What information are you receiving from that that's telling you about what you need to heal on your end? Okay? So another example, let's say, you struggle with being jealous, okay? Like you see somebody and they're just like, I want what they have and I feel so jealous. Like, how dare they? They must have it easy. Why can't I have it that easy? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever jealousy type of thoughts come up, what that's showing you is, okay, I need to open myself up to receive the information of this. Okay, I'm feeling jealous. I need to sit with that for a second. That's feminine energy, sitting with something for even a moment, allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you're experiencing. That's feminine energy. So with this whole envious or jealousy example that I'm talking about, that's showing you that you're coming in with a lack mentality saying, I don't have. But here's the thing is, even if they do have and you don't have, guess what? You have things in other areas. And let's say, oh, they have a nice car. I don't have a nice car. I want a nice car. Well, what does that show you? It shows you what direction you want to go. It's showing you your own dreams, your own desires, your own direction that you want to take that would help you feel more fulfilled. So it's like recognizing that and being grateful for that, saying, I feel this jealousy, but I am open to receiving the messages that it has to say to me, and then allowing yourself to actually take action towards achieving the things that you want. So if you're jealous, of something or a person or a specific place or whatever that's showing you what direction you need to go. Start going in that direction. So if you want a nicer car, that probably means you need to make a little bit more money and you need to take that brave step into, having, making a payment, like making a monthly payment on being able to have a nice car or whatever you need to do to make that happen for yourself. Do it out of love. Do it out of recognizing that my soul's trying to tell me something. And my ego is telling me that I'm lacking and that I should just give up and quit. But instead, open yourself up to receiving the messages and the direction that it's trying to tell you. That's feminine energy. Allow the information from the universe to give you what you need. That's the nutrients. That's what helps you grow. And guess what? It's not always comfortable, okay? Feminine energy can be very uncomfortable. I mean, think about childbirthing. That's uncomfortable, okay? Digging through the dirt for a root takes effort on the plant's part. I'm sure that's uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't speak plant that much. Like I speak a little bit of plant, but not a whole bunch. But here's the thing is, it's not always going to be comfortable. It's not always going to be easy, okay? It's not always going to be super soft or super pastel or super cutesy or whatever you want to label and deem as feminine, okay? So sometimes the people that have a lot of strength, the reason why they have a lot of strength and they have a lot of drive and they have a lot of gumption is because they've been able to take a step back and be with themselves in the feminine energy in order to know exactly where they want to go. Okay? So be careful when you judge people of like, oh, that person's not very feminine. You don't know. You don't know their story. Okay? Also, people who think they are feminine, take a second look at that for a second and ask yourself, how often do you go out? How often do you spend time alone? How often are you going and doing things? How full is your schedule? Do you fill your schedule up? When you have a moment of free time, do you find an empty space and fill it with something? Or do you allow that space to be empty and see where it takes you? That's a question to ask yourself of whether or not you're in your feminine energy or not. Are you always going and doing to the point of exhaustion? Or are you allowing yourself to actually sit back, relax, do nothing? Okay? Even if you do something while you're doing nothing, take that time to do nothing. And then if something arises out of the nothingness, then listen to that. But allowing yourself to be open and receive. And you know what? Sometimes when I open myself to receive, I realize, holy crap, I am tired. And you know what? That's information. And even if I'm in resistance to taking a nap or going to bed a little earlier that night, guess what? I am opening myself up to receive that information, and that information is extremely pertinent to being able to get myself into alignment again. So if you feel out of alignment, this is how you can get back into alignment. If you feel exhausted every single day, it's time to take in more feminine energy by opening yourself up to receiving messages from your body, from spirit, from your intuition, and listen to what it has to say. And instead of judging that information, listening to it and then actually doing something positive about it. Okay? So when I spend time alone, I spend quite a bit of time alone because I work from home and I'm home alone with other than my pets. I spend a lot of time alone. And what I've recognized is I had a really hard time before then to actually listening to myself and knowing when to quit. I'm the kind of person that when I set a goal, I want to keep going even if it breaks me. I want to keep going even if my body falls apart. I want to keep going even if it's destroying the people, places, and things around me. And so what I've learned the hard way is when I actually need to slow down. I actually need to stop. I actually need to pivot myself to be more in alignment with what is being called of me. So for example, like going on a hike, okay? I'm the kind of person that it's like, okay, if I'm going on a 5-mile hike, I'm going to finish that 5 miles no matter what. Even if my body is screaming at me, you're hurt, you need to stop, you need to turn around, you need to go home. So another example of this would be like I, a few years back, went out dancing and I was dancing and I was having a great time and I felt my body, I felt my foot, the tendons in my foot ripped. I ripped the bottom of my foot. The tendons in it, they totally disconnected and it was excruciatingly painful. And I should have stopped and went home right then, but I didn't. I kept going. And to me, that's like, okay, you're not listening. And I had to learn to listen. And it took literally physical injury for me to learn this lesson. And that's why I'm making this video, is because anybody who's out there who is looking to get in alignment with themselves, to get in alignment with what their soul purpose is, to hear their intuition better, to know whether they need to make this decision or that decision, I'm telling you right now, the best way to do that is to spend time alone with yourself, okay? And then actually opening yourself up to receive. I mean, there's a reason why meditation has been proven to lengthen your life, is because you're actually able to quiet the mind, open yourself up, and hear the messages from your own soul, from spirit, from intuition, from wherever your body, wherever it's coming from. So thank you so much for listening to this and listening to me. And I hope that these messages that I gave you were of some help. I hope this helps you understand a little bit more of how I feel and how I interpret feminine energy, in the sense of opening yourself up to receive messages that are pertinent for your soul's growth. Okay. And that's all I ever want from any of you and from myself, is to get in alignment with your soul and grow that soul, go in the direction of your soul, because this world is going to be such a better place if we all live from authenticity, speak our truth, and get in alignment with our own soul growth. Okay. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Okay. Bye.